But let's go to Canberra now, and joining us live is the National Senator Matt Canavan. Senator, good to see you. So what's it like, the first day back at school today for you?
Yes, it does feel like being back at school in the party room there. We'll have to be quiet where the teacher comes to the front of the room. But look, I don't know if the Albanese government knows why they're here, Peter. They don't have much of a legislative agenda. Just 18 bills are being introduced. Apparently that's very skinny compared to the 32 bills that the elected Abbott government put in 2013. And most of those bills seem like they're just symbolic. Their emissions reduction targets are not needed. They say that themselves. The domestic leave requirements are very important, but have already been decided by the Fair Work Commission, already in place for Australian employees. And they're also pumping up a territory rights bill, which is actually a conscience vote. It's not even a government bill. So, I don't know. They're very much like the dog who caught the car here. They've got it. They got government. And they don't know what to do with it.
Okay, well, you pointed out the climate bill there. That's the one that is going to get the most attention, I would assume, this week. It looks as though the Greens will fall in behind Labor, though, and support the package or the bill. The caveat being, though, that 43% is the floor, not a ceiling. What's your reaction to that?
Well, this just shows that Australia now has a Green left, Labor Green government. The Labor Party here are now going to do deals with the Greens every time we come here to this place, because to get legislation through the Senate, they need the Greens' support. And you are seeing the true colours here of the Labor Party. Indeed, yesterday, Chris Bowen said that their safeguard mechanism, their climate policy, will stop any new coal or gas projects going ahead. Now, he didn't say that before the election. Before the election, the Labor Party was saying that their safeguard mechanism wouldn't apply to coal mines. They were trying to get the votes of coal miners then. Now the Labor government needs the votes of Green senators, and that's going to be their number one focus over the next few years. So all of your viewers who are struggling with their cost of living, struggling with interest rates going up, they're going to get little relief from a Labor government that's in hock to the Greens here in the Senate and needs their support. And it's very telling this fortnight.
Yeah, sorry, just pointing on that, though, Labor has said that there will be no bans on new mines. That's not exactly Green left policy, is it?
Well, I'm only quoting Chris Bowen yesterday, Peter, that he said the safeguard mechanism, which will apply to all coal and gas projects in Australia, he said that is better. He said this is it. It means better than a ban on fossil fuel projects. It will stop coal projects because they'll have a carbon tax applied to them if they come into place. Now, in an environment where energy prices are going through the roof, where the whole world is desperate for our energy, this Labor government is focused on the Greens' votes in the Senate, not on delivering any relief to households suffering right now in Australia. As I was going to say before, it's very telling that this first fortnight here, Anthony Albanese has nothing to say about the cost of living crisis that's going on in this country. That is the number one issue that's raised with me back in my electorate, but I come here to Canberra and no one's talking about it. And that's why people are frustrated with politics, because we do not focus, this government in particular, is not focusing on what matters to people.
Well, okay. Well, on that point, given the result of the election and the drift to the Greens and the independents, isn't this just giving the people what they want?
Well, I don't think the Labor government has a mandate. Look, I respect the decision of the Australian people. Obviously, we were tossed out of government and we are not in government. Our job now is Her Majesty's opposition to hold this government to account in the Parliament. But the Labor Party got just a third of the votes, the lowest vote ever for any incoming government. 2/3 of people did not vote for Anthony Albanese. So there's no mandate to railroad through legislation, their legislation through the Parliament. They have to negotiate and deal with the Parliament that the Australian people have elected. And yes, some of those people are Green senators, more of them are Liberal and National senators.
But the point being that more people want climate action.
Well, the point here, Peter, is the Labor Party have a choice in the Senate, a proper choice to negotiate either with a government, with the Liberal and National parties, or the Greens. Now, they haven't even provided the legislation to the Liberal National Party politicians. They've got no interest in doing a deal with it. Their only interest is to get closer and become better friends with the Greens. That's what the Labor Party are focused on right now. They're not focused on your budgets. They're not focused on the cost of living. They're focused on Green senators down here in Canberra.
Are you expecting any members of the coalition to cross the floor tomorrow?
Look, I don't know. I haven't heard that myself, but we always respect those different views in the coalition. That is fine. I would say it's a little unusual given that we went to the election opposed to any legislative emission cuts, and I did not hear, I might have misheard, I might not have picked up on it, but I did not hear those or some of these my colleagues of mine to say that the election, if you vote for me, I will cross the floor and vote for Labor's emission reduction targets. You would think if they were going to act in that way, they would have been upfront with the Australian people just 2 months ago.
Will you try and roll back this legislation in 3 years?
Well, look, that's a matter for our party room. As far as I'm concerned, the whole thing is ridiculous. I think the big fear here with these legislative cuts is that this will become a weapon in our courts, a sword in our court system to stop major projects, not just mining projects. We've seen in the UK, for example, their legislative emission cuts put a stop to a third airport in London. And you can see right now they're struggling. They're capping the number of people arriving at Heathrow. But thanks to their emission targets, they can't build basic infrastructure now in the UK, and their country is coming to a halt. Okay. I don't want to see that happen here in Australia, and that's what I really fear with this legislation.
Okay, just a couple of quick ones here, Matt. 7 Manly Sea Eagles players refusing to wear the Pride jersey for religious reasons. I do want to get your thoughts on that crisis.
Well, look, I suppose I'd just say... double standard alert here. We're about to see a lot of double standards in the next few days. I recall a few years ago when the spin bowler Ahmed in the Australian team didn't want to wear the VB logo because it was inconsistent with his faith. He was hailed as a hero and a martyr for his cause. I don't think that same treatment will be meted out by our mainstream media to the Pacific Islander players here. I think largely Pacific Islander players here. That say that this jersey is inconsistent with their religious beliefs. So, look, I say good on them. Good on them. They're sacrificing a game. They're going to, I think, anger some of their teammates. But sometimes things are more important for you individually and personally, and I respect that, and good luck to them.
Okay, and just a last one here. We're almost out of time, but we've seen the pictures that have emerged overnight of the here they are, the mats that more and more people are going to see at airports now stopping, doing its best anyway to stop foot and mouth disease from coming into Australia. So that's just the latest measure by the government. Is this enough in your view, or does the government still need to go harder?
Well, I think more needs to be done. And there needs to be constant vigilance here. It's not a set and forget type of issue. This would be a catastrophe for Australia, not just for the beef industry. It would affect all Australians, possibly restrict our movements again, like we did in COVID. We don't want to go back to that. So let's hope that this government gets it under control. It does seem to be a slow start for the Minister Murray Watt. He promised these weeks ago, and they're still not in place in many major airports, is my understanding. So let's hope that they roll these out quicker and focus on this issue. And I think it should be the focus of the Labor government, that the Prime Minister should be across it. He seems to be delegating far too much on issues like this. This is a major crisis for Australia. If FMD got into our country, everything must be done to keep it out.
Okay, National Senator Matt Canavan, good to see you.